tram or flight. Whiskey round table. Oh, Greg, Karen, and the whiskey wizard talking facts and tastings. They've got you covered. Whiskey round table. Oh.
Welcome to the Whiskey Roundtable. We are your hosts,
Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
We're back.
Yeah, we almost, it was a little tough going there weather-wise. We weren't sure. I think we had a pretty good idea the show would go on, but
You never know.
That was Winter Storm Landon.
Did you guys get beat up too?
Yeah, we probably got 8 inches or something on top of the 14 that was already on.
We know how guys measure. I got to ask Shauna how much snow they really got.
I see 8 every morning, but anyway.
Yeah, it was
on Jimbo.
On Jimbo.
Pretty good.
With Jimbo and me, that's 8 inches. I ain't playing.
Jimmy.
Oh,
no, I know I woke up this morning.
It's bad when the dog laughs at you. Go ahead.
I know I woke up this morning. I was like, holy crap, because yesterday they were like, it's coming right at us, like they always do. And
right.
it snowed a little bit, but it wasn't ridiculous.
No.
Yeah, it wasn't ever really heavy. It just snowed for like 36 hours straight.
It's just enough to piss you off.
Exactly. So, we, last week we were kind of getting the cobwebs worked out. We hadn't done a show in a long time, and so
lots of cobwebs.
Well, Greg, what number is this show for 2022?
So if last week was number 1,
I'd say show 8.
Yeah.
Was that close?
Yeah, it's
Perfect.
close. It's close. It's
perfect.
Within 10. So,
Dear, this is why I drink.
so yeah.
So
So
that was good in math. But
anyway, our show is really about kind of the vibe of our show, and what we want to portray is just like we're all of you out there and us. We're just sitting around this table, enjoying talk about whiskey, sampling whiskey. Maybe we end up doing a little education and some news. So that's kind of our show, as most of you are quite familiar with by now. So
right.
Yeah.
We have fun doing the show.
Yeah.
We do. Hey, if we didn't, we wouldn't be here.
That's right.
It keeps-
Always trying to improve, though.
Yep, I hear that.
You can always.
After last week, we got
Yeah,
a lot of room for growth.
we have nowhere to go but up after last week.
Well, that's the way to do it. Leave yourself some room.
That's right. You got a sandbag, man.
Yeah.
Woo! After we turned the camera off last week, I was just like, oh no.
Yeah, right. Sometimes when we have guests, they think it's their radio show and they just overtalk us, and we have to tell them to shut the hell up.
Oh, that wasn't even the worst. The worst thing was just like, it just seemed so clunky last week.
It did.
At least to me,
We
it
were
did.
so
It
not
was.
used to it. It's just amazing how, after just a couple of months, that you kind of forget what you're doing. But
Well, plus Greg and I didn't pregame, so
No.
that never helps.
no.
But we pregamed this time, so we're a little lubricated
I
Right.
agree.
and good to go. So, Wizard, you got anything for us today?
Well, I just read that medical article. A lot of men remove their wedding rings when drinking whiskey when they go out, and
What?
because it does really cut down on their circulation.
Yeah.
What?
That's what it's supposed to do.
I never heard of that.
You're right.
That's what it's supposed to do, right? That's why we put that on your finger, right?
Right.
I was going to say something, but I probably should just shut up.
No, go ahead. Go ahead, funny guy.
I was
Say
gonna
it.
I say I use mine like a cock ring, but it always falls off. But anyway, I lose it. Anyway, it's just how my mind works. Anyway.
No, it was funny. I like that. That was good. That was good. So, second show, 2022 season.
We got a lot planned this
The second
year.
show? It's not the
Our 8th show.
Thank you.
On the Greg scale, but for most of us, it's the second show.
It's not dog years, honey.
Oh,
It's
shit.
just- okay.
Yeah.
Anyway.
Nobody give me a...
Shauna's out there, Matt's out there, so come on
Come on, kids.
Come on,
Matt.
everybody.
Phil Weaver is out there.
Oh, Phil. Master woodworking craftsman,
Amen.
Phil.
That's some
Yes.
beautiful
Yes.
furniture.
And by the way, Phil, we need a once the shop gets opened back up, we have a filing cabinet we need to talk to you about. So.
Uh-oh.
See, once you start.
Yeah, once you start.
You know,
All right, Phil.
only if you accept the commission. That's
Phil, if you have a cell phone, you could block that number, just saying.
all right. So
Oh boy.
I guess we're
Ready to get into this?
I guess we're talking about whiskey and Karen. What's the whiskey we're doing this week?
Oh my goodness. I'm sorry. I was just drinking some. What we are sampling tonight is Coalition Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey.
And you can see that we've already sampled.
Well,
But anyway,
you poured it out, and frankly, there was a little bit that had been sampled
In the
probably
middle.
from a prior
Yeah.
session one evening down here. But,
Right.
I have to say, this is one that I've never had before. I never heard of it, frankly, until you suggested us doing it. So I'm quite intrigued with it, and I'm anxious to hear what Karen has to tell us about it.
I think this was a gift from.
It was from my brother Stephen.
That's right. Okay.
It was either Stephen.
All right.
Actually, it was Stephen and Donnelly. Actually,
Okay.
but
Yeah, because you cannot get this. Surprise, surprise. In Ohio.
get the hell out of here.
Get the fuck out of here.
All right.
So,
well, but
yeah.
a lot of people that listen have their ways of obtaining things, and so I think if we just limited ourselves to what you can get in Ohio, it
It'll
might
really
constrict
limit
us
us, right?
a little bit too
Yeah.
much. But
Well, you know what
and I hope that improves.
it's-
I mean, it is getting better, right?
my thing is this. Not that anybody cares, but you know what? Some of these good whiskeys, if you will, throughout the United States, people travel. I'm sure that if they're bourbon people, they're looking for different things. So I don't mind throwing something out that you can't get in Ohio because
Right.
it gives somebody, hey, I remember they talked about, if they watch the show, I talked about Coalition, blah, blah, blah. I'd like to try it, the rye or whatever. So I don't mind. That bottle came from Wisconsin. That's a store pick. That bottle is fantastic.
What's that one? Drift? What's it called?
Driftless.
This one is
Driftless.
Driftless Glen.
Yeah.
That came up from
Yeah,
Rob
that's-
up north, who is
Yeah,
watching
yeah,
this as well.
out of what is it? Woodman liquor store, and it's their store pick, and it's fantastic. We did the if I remember, we did the Rob brought down one of the Old Forester single barrels, which is one of my favorite drinks as well, and it was probably one of the best besides Cleveland Bourbon Co-op, which we need to do a shout out to everybody. But it was as good as that. It was really, really good. So just saying.
Good deal.
Yeah.
So should we try a bottle cam, or is it a little too early to go to bottle cam?
It's bottle can.
It's never too
Never
early.
too early to do bottle
Never
can.
too early.
Before
for
we get
bottle
into
cam.
the details of tonight's whiskey, let's take a quick ride on the bottle cam.
Be right back, kids.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
Nice, Dougie. Very nice.
That was
We had to squeeze it into Karen's heel, but we got it in there.
Could you imagine me wearing a shoe like that?
No.
Please.
But it fits me well. No, just kidding. Anyway, go ahead. I'm
Goes with
sorry.
that dress of
just on those
yours
special
too.
occasions. Great.
Go ahead.
Goes to the, yeah. I was gonna say, since we just did the bottle cam, a little bit of information on the bottle. It's very unique. You don't see many bottles that are like that. It's an Art Deco inspired rigid glass bottle. It's kind of a shout out to the crystal decanters that were made famous during the 1920s.
Right.
And the front label of that is actually 18 karat gold plated.
Oh shit! If I'd known that,
Wow.
I would have stripped that down and got some cash.
So you'll notice on our bottle, the top of it is just a little brown.
Let me take it up there.
Cap, but that is
Cap.
the real. Well, that is the real
But
top.
what Greg is going to show you is the real top that
Oh.
comes with the bottle.
I
So
huh.
if you're lucky enough to happen upon one of these bottles, just a word of caution when you open it up.
The cork comes off. It'll break off. This one is dry now, so it's sticking on there, but it will break off, and then you got to figure out how to get the cork out. Obviously, a corkscrew will take that out, but
Yeah.
I try to get it out, get it wet, and pull it out, and then I turn around and put a different cap in there. But this is what it is right there.
Yeah, that's the actual cap for that.
So it's nice. It's a nice decorative feature to add to the Art Deco feel, right? But maybe not as practical if it's going to get left in the bottle when you pull it out.
Yeah, and it's funny, well, maybe not funny, but when you got the bottle, you were told,
I
be
was told,
careful
right.
opening it up.
But what happens? I don't listen.
So I've been saying that for 20-some years.
Yeah, that's not the first bottle I've had of that. That's probably my fourth bottle that I've had of that. But 4 out of 4 times I've had to use the corkscrew. But anyway.
But it's not like you didn't get cork in.
No,
the
I was able
whiskey
to
or
pull it out.
anything,
I think the first bottle I did, I had the cork almost all the way out that I could have pulled. I actually pulled it out with my hand. And but it broke almost at the top, so I just twisted the cork and whiskeyed it out and pulled it out. So
You
same
whiskeyed
thing.
it out?
I whiskeyed it out.
Well, one of the nice things about whiskey, unlike wine, is if the cork actually falls in there and is floating around, it doesn't really tend to
Right.
impact the flavor
Impact
or
the
cause
flavor.
any problems.
Right.
It's just not. It's not very sightly, but it won't affect the taste of the whiskey.
So that's the story of our bottle top.
Yes.
And
Okay.
why it has a different one than you'll
So
see.
rather than the bottle, let's talk about what's in it. And
All right.
Karen's got some
You ready
info.
to talk about what's
Yeah.
in it? Okay, let me scroll. So Coalition, the founders are 3 guys who got together. Leonid Yang Arbor. He left his job as a CEO at a major spirits company. I couldn't find out which one. Then there's Steve Thompson, who had been in the whiskey business for about 40 years, and he's actually the owner of the Kentucky Artisan Distillery.
Yeah.
And then Ludwig Vaneron, who is a Bordeaux winemaker, which
There we go. That's
There you
the
go.
will come into play later.
Yeah.
Gotcha.
But they got together and they said what would happen if they found the best wine barrels from a chateau in Bordeaux and used them to bring out more flavor of a rye whiskey. So this is 100% rye. And Doug, as you told me before the show, it's 90% rye, 10% malted rye.
Malted rye. So yeah. So,
And the rye comes from the distillery just a mile or 2 away from the distillery in Crestwood, Kentucky. And they say while most ryes include corn, Coalition is made entirely from rye. Most Kentucky farmers, they prefer to grow corn because it's less labor intensive and it yields a more higher dollar per
and
acre.
it does happen to grow really well in Kentucky.
Correct.
100% rye whiskey is a way more expensive option to go, but they figured there was no other way to create the flavor and intensity that they were looking for that would
Right.
match with the Bordeaux wine barrels.
And it is, frankly, it's hard to do 100% rye. And that's why there's 10% malted rye. That must help because the yeast doesn't really. That's why they usually add malted barley to most grain bills because that helps get the yeast going. Mm-hmm. There's chemistry in the barley that is a good starter for gives the nutrients that the yeast needs. So it's harder to do it. So yeah, all around it's a little more difficult process if there's if you're just going with all rye. So
That's why we call him the wizard.
That's why he's the wizard.
The master distiller is Jade Peterson, and they have zero automation in their distilling, and they use an all copper pot still, which dates back to pre-prohibition to distill their rye
I'd
whiskey.
like to see that.
yeah,
That would be awesome.
So after they get their rye whiskey, the next step was to look in Bordeaux, France. They wanted to find the best barrels from Margaux, Pauillac, and Sauternes to finish the whiskey. The barrels used for Coalition were originally maturing some of the most awarded Bordeaux wines for around 18 months. They pick up the distinctive flavors and textures of the wine, and when the wine barrels are empty, they have an inner layer that has all of the wine's flavor components within them. I know. So they do extensive visual and smell inspections on all of the barrels to make sure that they pick just the right one. So out of an inspection of about 150 barrels, they will pick 25 to actually be the barrels to make the Coalition whiskey. And then once they put the whiskey in the barrels, it stays in there for at least 6 months to get the flavor. That's what I got on
Yeah.
Coalition.
So, and that's pretty interesting with the, because that Chateau Margaux is one of the most renowned old winemakers in Bordeaux. So some of the best Bordeaux wines in the world have been made there. So for them to score those barriques or barrels, if you will, that they use for aging that wine, that probably took some doing. I guess that's why the one guy who's in that partnership
just
is
gonna say Ludwig.
How many
is-
barrels do they? You said they did.
They inspect 150 barrels to pick 25 to make the Coalition whiskey.
So,
Right.
my question is that does that cause them a limited production, so to say, or no? Do you know what I mean, or no?
Either that or it takes a lot of time to look at a lot of barrels.
All right.
Right, and
I'm
it doesn't say how long they do the finishing.
And they do that just for the rye, or they do it
At
for,
least 6 months they do the
Yeah.
finishing.
Okay. Huh. Curious. Awesome.
Right.
So specifically, what we have here is the Kentucky Straight Rye Whiskey. I do have a picture of all of their different types of whiskey that they have. They have a barrel proof, which is 108.8. They have a Pauillac, which is a 92.6. The one that we're sampling tonight is the Sauternes, which is 94.2. And they have a Margaux Barrique, which is 90.8 proof.
I saw Buryak this morning when you let the dog out. But anyway, nothing to see here.
Birdiac?
Yeah,
What did
that
you-
too.
Okay. I saw Birdiac.
I didn't know why you was talking.
Oh, I speak Greg.
Okay.
Yeah, I speak Greg.
Nobody caught it, but that's okay. I caught it. I liked my own joke, by the way. Go ahead.
So anyways, if you go on the Coalition website, you can pick this up for $90. I didn't see if they ship to Ohio. Apologize for that. But otherwise, if you're traveling and you happen to be in New York, New Jersey, California, Florida, Kentucky, Illinois, or Colorado,
Just about anywhere else.
you can pick this
Yeah.
up.
All but Ohio. The entire United States except Ohio.
Right, exactly. Well, not bad for $90 for an 18-karat gold-plated label there.
I'll tell you what. That came from Stephen, and along
Thank
with
you,
a lot,
Steve.
along with a lot of other stuff. So he probably spent $1,000 just bringing me up stuff. So
He's not watching tonight, so
No, it's all right.
shh, maybe he won't know. He'll be over here going, "Give me that bottle back."
last week he was on a fishing trip. So
He went fishing.
he went fishing. I'm like, black people don't swim.
I gotta
Fuck
see
you doing
that.
on a boat, man? What the hell's wrong with you?
They fish them.
He's like, brother, I had a great time. I'm like, you didn't have a great time. You were probably throwing up, hanging onto the hanging onto the buoy or something. So, black people don't swim. What the hell's wrong with you?
Who said he got on a boat? He's probably standing on the shore.
We were in Europe, right? We were in Europe, and we're like, come on, let's go in the water. It's like, I ain't going in that water. I go, what? He goes, black people can't swim. I'm like, you didn't learn how to swim? What the hell's wrong with you?
Sharks like dark meat.
Yeah,
I'm not going in there.
Hurry up, get a pole. Let's throw them in. Anyway, sorry, just my humor. Go
We
ahead.
digress. So anyway, guys, that's what I have on our
Okay.
Coalition bottle today. So
I think it's time
we
to taste this
ready
thing.
to pass this out?
All right, let's do it, kids. Pass it on to
And
the
the
man.
suspense here.
Da-da-da,
Pass it on to yourself.
dun-da-da.
I got one too. All right.
Ooh,
All right. Let me smell this.
I
Ooh.
catch a bit of wood.
Oh,
Ooh. It's definitely either mango or apricot, one or the
Yeah.
other.
You're right.
so there's lots of nice, as you might expect, there's a lot of fruit coming out there.
There is. There's something else in there, but I don't know what it is. But it's
I would say,
straightforward.
I get,
Orange fruit
plum,
of some
dark
sort.
berry, maybe like you said, maybe some apricot.
That's what I got.
That's, and as Karen, definitely there's oak there for sure. A lot of oak. That's that extra.
It smells beautiful. I get it's apricot for sure. I get straight apricot out of it.
Yeah, it is. It's very.
It's
fruity.
almost intoxicating just the nose on this.
I like
It's
apricot, and I like I eat all the like trail mix. So they always have
dried
the
apricot.
dried apricot, and I'm a big fan of mango. So it's either apricot or mango in there, but I think it's
a
apricot.
little bit of. I'll
Wow,
go with you. Some tropical-esque kind of fruit,
very good.
some orchard fruit, and then some berries. I'm thinking dark berries like.
It's not real
Black
earthy. It's not real
raspberries.
earthy, but I think I get a little earth in it too.
I get. I do get the hint of the fruits in there, but I get more of the dark woodsy smell to it. I don't know if that's the right term that I'm getting from it, but
I'm really, believe it or not, I'm not getting any. I'm not getting. I don't get it. Maybe it's the fruit in there, but I'm not getting any of the vanilla smell.
Not
No.
very little of the typical butterscotch caramel, but now
It's nice.
again,
Very nice. Very nice.
It is a
Floral's
rye,
nice.
so I'm surprised you aren't getting more of the
I'm not getting
baking spice, cinnamon kind of rye.
right.
But that's very intriguing. I honestly can't wait to taste it.
What's the proof on this?
94.2.
94. So, kind of right in the middle there.
I
kind
only
of,
drink them. I don't look at the proof.
That's true. I mean,
All right.
I have to quit putting Bath and Body Works lotion on my hands before I do this because it's totally ruining.
Yeah,
Should we dive in or no?
yeah, I'm ready.
So let me read the notes.
Yeah.
Oh, go ahead. I'm sorry.
please
The
do.
nose is perfectly balanced honeyed vanilla notes with caramel and apricot hints, juicy fruity sweetness, baking spice, wood, copper,
Nice.
almonds. Jen, are you out there? Roasted nuts and oil.
Oil.
Yeah, I definitely get more of the. I definitely get plum. and
Where are you at? Did you? Let me see that. Can I just read that for one quick?
Yeah, absolutely. Go ahead.
I even get.
I don't get any. I would say if
I
there's
even get a
anything.
little bit of something herbal in there, like some mint or something like that.
I can see like the almonds, the wood. Not so much the baking spices, but I think that's what I meant when I said like woodsy kind of.
I could see the honey. I don't get the vanilla at all.
No, I don't
No.
either.
But the oils. I mean, when I think oils, I mean almonds have oil. So I'm just wondering what the oil is. I mean, is it 10W30? I mean, what is it? But what
Let's
is the
hope not.
oil? Right. So it smells great.
Yeah, it really is.
Yes, I
It
agree.
smells great. I'm still relearning my palate because I haven't drank in a couple of months, believe it or not. So when we were down, so I'm trying to
In a lot of those months, you probably couldn't smell much of it.
Right.
Nothing.
Exactly. So
All right, well, here
right,
we
let's
go.
go. Let's dive in.
Let's do this. Smooth and creamy. To me, I was pre-gaming with something else, and I'm comparing it to that, and this is a lot more smooth than the other.
That's good.
I got the wine barrels
Yeah,
on the finish.
get
Yeah.
that.
But again, I get like a black cherry
Yes.
kind of, maybe some grape, which is obvious with the finish, but you're right, a creaminess, kind of a little
I almost get a
malt, and even though there's no malted barley in this, but
There's
mean,
10% malted rye,
yeah,
so maybe that's
I get a little, just a little hint. It might not be, you guys might not get it, but I get just a little bit. It's almost like black licorice to
yeah.
me. But I don't know. Again, it's my palate, so I don't. Plus, I'm smoking a Maduro cigar.
maybe
so that
even might describe it as like black tea. There's a little bit of it.
Oh, look at you.
I think
Yes.
I think you're exactly right.
You've been drinking a lot of black tea lately.
I
so-
have been. That's why when you said black
You're
tea,
right.
my light went on. That's probably what it is. All right.
Well,
What's the official?
what I pulled was it's smooth on the palate, luscious flavors of dried fruit and toffee. I don't
Okay.
get any toffee.
I didn't get any toffee.
Getting
either.
any of the like candy, butter, toffee, vanilla?
No, I'm
Excuse
not
me.
getting any of that. Juicy, fruity sweetness, raw craft woodiness.
Definitely. Okay.
Definitely, there's like some definitely oak and
Yep.
tobacco.
Yeah, it's got a dryness to it. It's not a real long finish.
It's not.
It's really not a long.
But
finish.
it's what is long is there's this nice, not hot, but this nice warming.
yeah,
It's
it's
a good winter
right.
whiskey,
I don't-
sipping whiskey.
For 94 proof, sorry.
Yeah.
No, go ahead. Go ahead.
I was just going to say I agree with you.
Exactly. It's not. So I don't like high heat drinks. I don't like that. Basically, it kind of ruins when I'm drinking. Again, this is just me, my palate, how I view it. Sometimes it kind of ruins my drinking, so to say, when you have that burn pit in your stomach for the next 15 minutes. I don't like that.
Or
That's
it
not
rip-
enjoyable. to
It
me.
rips
No,
your
you don't
taste buds
really
off, yeah.
Want to get acid reflux?
Okay, the after finish right now is straight up honey.
Really?
Straight up honey.
Well, I get black pepper, and then there is a little bit of something softer,
It's
more
good.
candy-like on the.
Yeah, it's sweet. It's definitely sweet.
And that's what I love about ryes. Ryes always tend to be more on the sweet side of it, and I'm sure the Bordeaux wine barrels help that as
Oh
well.
yes, yeah.
I'm a big.
So I think it's a good. I think it's a good combo, right? I just to marry rye with a good Bordeaux red finishing cask is probably probably makes a lot of sense. I wouldn't have thought of it, and you can see that.
Yeah, it's definitely.
color reflects.
Yep.
It's definitely. It's dark.
It's the origins.
Beautiful.
So, yeah.
What do you got on the palate?
I think I read that.
did you?
Smooth on the palate, luscious flavors, dried fruit toffee, juicy, fruity, sweetness,
Definitely sweet.
raw craft woodiness. A few other things that I pulled off, but I don't get this at all. Baking spice, cocoa, banana chips, and some copper.
Ah.
I don't know about that.
I don't know. I just drink it again. I'm a big honey guy, personally.
You are.
I use honey in everything. I mean, real honey, not processed, so to say.
Oh yeah.
We're country folk.
Yeah,
we
are-
get that
we
real
are
honey.
Country folk, son. Let me tell you
Like
something.
good old.
Put your
orange
tooth in,
blossom
let's talk.
honey.
We're going out tonight.
You wave with all the fingers, even if they're only 3. But anyway, but it's very good. I like it. I mean, I enjoy this. I really do.
All right. Well, before we do our scores, why don't we take another quick ride on the bottle cam?
All right, let's do it.
Bottle cam number 2 coming up.
Hey everyone, it's time for the bottle cam. The bottle cam.
Holy crap! It's time for the bottle cam.
hell's that? When did you do that? Was I here?
Yeah. Your face is there. How do you think?
I think you must have been.
I love all the stuff that you capture. Like Greg said when we were having the bottle cam go, he's like, "You're like the dog. You get in."
He's like the dog. This guy's like the dog. He's in every room. This guy. He's in every room. I'm like, while you're in there, can you
it's
throw
the bottle can.
Can you throw the clothes in the washer and the dryer for us, please?
Exactly.
I don't control the bottle cam. It has a mind of its own.
Obviously. That's funny.
Oh, that's funny. So, real quick, before we move on, the finish
Yes.
says delicate almond, medium to woody and grainy.
I don't know. That's not how I describe it. A little pepper, like maybe some honey, like Greg said. I don't get a lot of grainy. I don't get a lot of oak on the finish.
No.
I get the woodsy. I get that.
Yeah, I can get the wood. I get it. Oh, easy, especially in the morning. Woo!
At his age, though.
Yeah, my age. Yeah. So no, I could get the woodiness. I get that, but I don't get as much as the oak. But I would definitely get the woody. You know,
Although I think in the body
like a saturated
of the
wood.
palate, I do get the oak, which makes sense. It's spent a lot of time for a American whiskey on the oak, so.
It's
But,
nice.
yeah.
It's really nice. I like it. I like
So
it.
we're going to find out how nice you think it is, Greg. So
Alright.
what on our whiskey roundtable scoring system of 0 to 5, with
Alright.
5 being the best damn thing you've ever had, and like 4 being something you must have in your collection, and so forth. How do you rate this one?
0.05. Just kidding. Y'all stood up, didn't you?
Are you still here?
I'm still here. I'm gonna go with 3.7.
3.7.
That's a good score. I'm partial to ryes. I do like ryes. I'm right in your ballpark too, man.
Well, don't crowd me. Just saying. Just kidding.
I'm gonna go 3.75.
Oh, biatch. Okay.
Well, I do like this a lot. It's probably not in 4 category, and so I'm exactly right with you at
There
a
you go,
3.7.
Thank you, brother.
Just kind of like we were last week, actually.
Look at us actually agreeing for
Yeah,
once.
well, I mean, we usually are in the ball.
No, I'm just kidding.
No, we are. We're usually pretty
We
close.
spend too much time together. It's starting to rub off on
But
each
we,
other.
we tend to come up close on the scoring most of the time.
So I'm just seeing if anyone is out there,
Who's out there today?
and if they have had this pick, not really a pick, but this coalition. Let's see. We've got a couple people out there.
Who we
We've got Nick T.
Nick T, what's up, dog?
He said the best
Yeah.
whiskey he's ever had was from plums that he fermented and ran it through a still.
They call that Schlivovitz. That's the proper
Ziggy
name
zaggy,
for it.
ziggy zaggy.
Hoi, hoi, hoi.
And Matt is out there. He says, Greg and Doug, we need a road trip to Royal Havana soon.
Amen, man. Amen.
Absolutely. Is that kind of a Wednesday night? Isn't that the traditional?
It could be whatever night you want it to be.
I'm up for that, Matt.
So
We can do that in the
I
near
love Matt.
future. For
He's
sure.
such a great guy. Matt, you're
get,
stupid, but I love you.
We'll get the whole gang over there some evening. And
Love it.
and have
I
fun.
can't believe Dan is not. I mean,
I know.
Last
it's hard
time we
to
did-
believe
last time
Dan
we were there,
is,
Dan was there.
Dan was
Yeah.
here last week. I don't see him at least in the comments here tonight.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's hard to believe he's already
I didn't know
he's
he
left
moved.
town and he's up in. He's not too far away there in Detroit area.
Well, I wish him well. That's for
but
sure.
as
He's
Hey,
such
we
a
got
nice
got
guy.
Matt.
Yeah.
Yeah, he is a great guy, and he did a
And-
great show when he was here, and it was a lot
right,
of fun.
and like
He's a
we
good
said,
guy.
but he needed to get away.
I get it.
He's a sunbird. He needed to get off to warmer climate there.
Mm-hmm.
in
Detroit? Oh yeah, the beautiful
that's
downtown
good.
sunny Detroit.
Yeah, right.
I'm just kidding.
Yeah, that's nice. Mhm.
We got Jennifer Boggs out there.
What's up, Jen?
I
Okay,
see she is like a fan favorite here on the
Oh, she
scroll.
is.
She's got everyone saying hi
She
to
is
her.
very consistent. That's what I love about
Love
you,
it.
girlfriend.
Love
You're
it.
very
Everyone's-
consistent.
everyone's waving to
I
Jen.
love consistency.
Nick says, Greg, you're making that cigar look way too good, and he wants to catch up for another session.
All right, so why don't you reach out to me after the show, Nick, and I might be out at your way on Sunday, so see what you got going on. I probably got a good hour to kill if you want to get together.
And Nick, thank you. He paid me a compliment, which doesn't happen very often, so I got to read
I mean,
it.
Nick is very complimentary. Maybe me, but not Nick. Nick
That's
is-
why I looked at you
Okay,
when I
all right.
said that. He says, Karen, you do an awesome job in your research. Thank you.
She
Yes,
does.
she does.
Yes, she does.
Shauna also gave me a shout out saying interesting history.
So every time we talk about when we meet people about the radio show, and everybody that has watched in the past, has said, your wife does a great job on the.
You're married?
No, I'm my first wife.
Oh, okay.
So, so they always say that your wife does a great job on the history of the distillers and all that stuff, and then they love the whiskey round table. I'm sorry, they love the Doug's space for the
Whiskey
Whiskey
Wizard.
Wizard. Excuse me. So there goes my short-term memory loss. But they always talk beautiful about my wife and about Doug and what a great job Doug does and blah 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 blah. But at the end of the day,
It takes all of us
They never
to
mention
make
my
this
name.
work.
Exactly.
They don't say what Greg does.
This
No.
much
They're like,
perfection
man,
just
your wife
doesn't
does a great
happen
job.
by
The Whiskey
accident."
Wizard does a great job. I'm like, oh, great. Thank you.
No.
Nobody says, Greg, you know what? You're a funny guy.
We appreciate
You're
it.
hysterical.
Oh, yeah.
That's
I'm
why
a
I
laugh a
married
minute.
you.
That's right.
Now
But
the
anyway,
joke's on
As
you,
we
isn't
say,
it?
Greg, you're the personality, right? That's your job.
Yeah. Guess that's
yeah.
a compliment. But anyway, thanks, I think. But anyway, go ahead. I'm just teasing. Go ahead. Let's move on. What? No, wait. Go back to the
Oh
scroll.
no,
What else do we
I
have?
think I scrolled through everything.
Did you scroll through everything?
Yeah, we got Nick and Jen Boggs have their conversation
Oh, I'm sure.
going.
Yeah.
Matt Souza, you mentioned
Matt,
he
my
wants
boy.
to go to Royal Havana.
Miss Shauna's hanging out. That's
Yeah,
my
no,
girl.
Mark,
I
we
made you
haven't
some
seen
great
Mark in a
popcorn
while.
today, Shauna. You didn't show.
You know what? I realized that I didn't send him the link like I usually do to remind him.
What's that?
Well, Mark has a
Mark.
new girlfriend, so
Well, that's what I heard. So
Oh.
he's probably
busy.
getting busy.
He's getting,
Just
he getting
busy.
busy right now. He's gonna throw his back
All
up.
right.
Anyway,
Of
go
course,
ahead.
Mark, we're talking about is one of our sponsors with Rawhide Firearms.
Why don't you run down? You
Why
have,
don't you run down
you
the
have
scroll?
our sponsors to run down?
Going down the scroll.
Okay, so all of our sponsors, we'll give them a quick shout out. The Cleveland Bourbon Co-op, of course, Royal Havana Cigars, as we just mentioned earlier, Village Martini, Simply Greek, Low Imports, Roll and Smoke Barbecue, Chagrin Valley Beverage, 21 Staves, North Coast Jazz Ensemble, and of course, again, Rawhide Firearms.
right.
So,
When you read that, you should do this. Like that guy, what was he from? Laughing? You know, when he would.
Gary Owens.
Was that his name, Gary Owens? Oh my God.
Hide firearms.
It's funny because I say all the time, like people that know me but don't really know me, and we're talking, or like get into the conversation, and they're like, "So what do you got going on?" I say, "I'm going home to watch Hee Haw." They either laugh or they look at me like, "What the hell is Hee Haw?" And I'm just like, "Really?"
Or they go,
How do you not know what he
well,
was?
That does kinda make
because
sense.
they're younger. They're younger crowds.
Yeah.
So it's like, I love Hee Haw.
but Gary Owens, come on, give me
Oh
that's
yeah,
a pretty
Gary
good
Owens
pull.
great.
Right?
I remember that was a great show.
That
That's
was a great pull.
Yeah.
I just saw him in my head, which doesn't help any of you. But
Yeah, and I kind of, I had a quick image of him.
so, Greg, you're getting lots of love now.
Oh, now
Right,
it's
Jennifer-
a little too late, kids. A little too
Jennifer
late.
says, "Greg, you're a funny guy." Phil Weaver says, "Greg, you add the panache."
Exactly.
Thanks, Phil.
He is. Greg is definitely adds in that je ne sais quoi.
Ah,
Makes the
Yeah.
show go.
And Nick,
I
obviously,
thought it was my dancing skills, but that's all right. Go ahead.
you should see him shake it.
Oh, maybe we need maybe on one of our on location shows.
Yeah,
we'll have
maybe
to
we
make
break
that
it out,
happen.
kids. Maybe we break
Exactly.
it out.
And Nick T says, "Greg, you are the show.
Nick, see, that's
Yes,
why I
he
love you,
is.
brother.
It
That's
couldn't
why I love
happen
you.
without
That's why I love you, bro.
You better bring him a cigar.
Oh, I'm gonna bring him a couple cigars.
See?
All right.
It worked, Nick. Good job. Okay.
Go ahead. Sorry. Enough about me.
Is it really?
Not really. All right, let's move on, kids. Let's move on.
Nothing to see here.
Nothing to see here. Move along.
All right, Doug. So I think it's time for the wizard. Do you want to talk it up a little bit?
Yeah. Well, last week we talked about the Kentucky Bourbon Trail, and this week we're going to talk about the lesser known, newer American Whiskey Trail. So there's all kinds of trails.
Is there such a thing?
Yes, there is.
Oh,
We're going to learn about it right now on the Whiskey Wizard.
all right, kids. We'll be right back.
See you in a few minutes.
Bye-bye.
Whiskey Wizard. It's the Whiskey Wizard.
Hello and welcome to the Whiskey Wizard, where we say that whiskey making takes scientific knowledge, an artisan's skill and dedication, and a bit of the wizard's alchemy of light, air, earth, and fire. Yes, we recently covered the Bourbon Trail, and tonight we're going to talk about the American Whiskey Trail. The American Whiskey Trail is a newcomer to the story of American whiskey, even compared to the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. As we've discussed in past Wizard episodes, from the colonial era on, whiskey has had an important economic and social impact upon the fabric of the country, from the Whiskey Rebellion through Prohibition and into modern times. Whiskey has played an important and sometimes controversial role in our nation's history. As a note, in the 1830s, the average American aged 15 or older consumed over 7 gallons of absolute alcohol per year. It came from an average of 9.5 gallons of spirits, 1/2 gallon of wine, and 27 gallons of beer. That's a quantity about 3 times the current rate. On the American Whiskey Trail, you'll learn stuff like this, or you might learn perhaps that Abraham Lincoln operated several taverns, and that the first Kentucky whiskey was made in 1789 by a Baptist minister. You might hear that in George Washington's White House, happy hour began promptly at 3 p.m. and continued until dinner. Nice. Anyway, the American Whiskey Trail is the name of a promotional program supported by the Distilled Spirits Council of the United States, or the DSC, that promotes the distilled beverage industry in the United States. The American Whiskey Trail was first promoted to the public on September 28, 2004. The American Whiskey Trail consists of various historical sites, some with actual operating distilleries that are open to the public for tours. On the trail, you'll find many of America's not only famous operating distilleries, but also many of these important historic sites connected to the history of distilling whiskey and spirits in our country. The DSC promotes the gateway to the American Whiskey Trail as being George Washington's distillery at historic Mount Vernon. Anyway, each of these sites along the trail probably has a unique story to tell. Sites along the American Whiskey Trail can be visited in any order or sequence desired, although again, the George Washington Distillery is promoted as the starting point. Anyway, here they are. Fouch's Tavern Museum in Manhattan, New York. Gadsby's Tavern Museum in Alexandria, Virginia. George Washington Distillery Museum in Mount Vernon, Virginia. Oliver Miller Homestead in South Park, Pennsylvania. Oscar Getz Museum of Whiskey History in Bardstown, Kentucky. West Overton Village and Museums in Scottsdale, Pennsylvania. Woodville Plantation, John and Presley Neville House in Bridgeville, Pennsylvania. Bradford House Museum in Washington, Pennsylvania. Allegheny Museum in Cumberland, Maryland. Besides being recognized as historic sites, a number of these operating whiskey distilleries are open to the public for tours and in many cases tastings. Most are located in close proximity to each other in Kentucky, although a few are located in Tennessee, Pennsylvania, Utah, and West Virginia. You'll note that some of these also happen to be part of the Kentucky Bourbon Trail. The official commercial distillery sites on the AWT include Buffalo Trace in Frankfort, Kentucky, George Dickel in Tullahoma, Tennessee, Jack Daniels in Lynchburg, Tennessee, Jim Beam American Stillhouse in Claremont, Kentucky, Jim Beam Urban Stillhouse in Louisville, Kentucky, Baker's Mark in Loretto, Kentucky, 1792 Bourbon Distillery in Bardstown, Kentucky. Wild Turkey in Lawrenceville, Kentucky. Woodford Reserve in Versailles, Kentucky. Wiggle Whiskey in Pittsburgh, Pennsylvania. Four Roses in Lawrenceburg, Kentucky. Old Forester in Louisville, Kentucky. And Angel's Envy in Louisville, Kentucky. Bullet Frontier Whiskey Experience, Sitzel Weller Distillery in Louisville, Kentucky. Town Branch in Lexington, Kentucky. O.Z. Tyler in Owensboro, Kentucky. High West Distillery in Wanship, Utah. Smooth Amber Distillery in Maxwellton, West Virginia. In addition to the sites and distilleries tied to the history of American whiskey production, the Distilled Spirits Council provides information and promotes the range of other types of spirit distilleries around the country in conjunction with the promotion of the American Whiskey Trail. Also, there's Limestone Branch Distillery, Black Button Distilling, a whiskey and gin producer in New York, and Tennessee South Distillery, and let us not forget Nelson's Greenbrier Distillery, maker of one of our show favorites, Belle Meade in Nashville. There's even a Tennessee Whiskey Trail, but okay, enough is enough. Go ahead and make a fun summer trip and challenge yourself by doing one of these whiskey trails. It's fun and in and of itself, and quite frankly, invent your own. Hey, how about the Whiskey Roundtable Trail? It'd have to be partly in the US and partly in Scotland, I should think. The point is, there's a ton of great distilleries out there to visit, and it is fun. Find those who make the stuff you most appreciate and go see them. There are private third-party tour agents in Kentucky that can help you plan your trip there and even provide shuttles and other transportation. I won't list them, as you all can Google. Anyway, all of us on the Whiskey Roundtable hope to see you all there sometime, somewhere on the trail, and as we said, maybe that's something we should organize. This is Douglas Dunbar, the Whiskey Wizard, for the Whiskey Roundtable. Cheers, Slàinte, and now back to the live show.
I really like that Whiskey Roundtable trip.
I think that's something we need to make happen. I think we need to even come up with our own Whiskey Roundtable Trail. You know, we could kind of create all the distilleries that we really like and organize a trip, and we could do the Whiskey Roundtable Trail.
I wonder if I can get. I want to get Nick off the farm there in the far. Can't see where he's at. Bring his ass with us. We have a good time.
Oh my God.
And I think either at some point in the trail we end up at Jen's house.
Ah, there you go.
For a little fun activities.
I need a king size bed, girl.
Yeah. Some special samplings for a private stock. No, I'm just kidding.
So
Jen says road trip.
She lives right there in the heart of bourbon country, so you know we practically have to drive past her house anyway.
That's it.
Yeah.
So, what did you do with the cabinets that Phil made?
What do you mean?
I mean, I don't see. I saw him one time. I don't see him anymore.
Oh, you mean in the Wizard episode?
Or are you too afraid to say that you sold them at the garage sale?
Well, I wasn't going to mention.
You look a little nervous right now, so I'm just asking some questions.
No, you may have noticed in that particular episode, in fact, with the last week's episode as well, you didn't see Phil's cabinets.
Phil wasn't watching, but he's smarter
Phil,
today.
I mean, we don't want to. I was trying to avoid bringing this up, but you know, I did get a really nice offer on them, Phil. One that I couldn't pass up. No,
Someone made him an offer he couldn't refuse.
Yeah, Phil, and I won't tell you what I had to pay for him.
No,
I saw you eyeing those up.
The truth is, I pre-recorded those shows back in October, right before I went.
Right before you left.
Up.
Yeah.
They just hadn't aired yet, but anyway, that's probably about it. From now on in, they're all. My cabinets are going to be in all the future episodes.
Are you sure?
I would say. I don't think I have any. Well, I am going to run.
I have to take them back out of the pickup?
Let's put it this way: if you see if you don't see the cabinets, you know it's a rerun.
Phil,
or
I'll
an old-
whoop his
a replay.
rear
I'm
end,
going to rerun shows. Damn it! I mean, I've done about 85 of separate Wizard episodes, and I deserve to be able to do some reruns once in a while. So,
That's right.
All right.
I mean, they're a lot of work to put together, and not that it really shows, but it takes time to
No,
figure
it
out
does, and I think you do
what
a
I'm going to
great
talk
job.
about, and then write the script and figure it out.
Hey, Phil.
Obtain all the photos. Yeah, it's a work, guys.
Phil, can I say one thing?
Oh dear.
All right. Well, enough about that.
Phil just put a couple laughing emojis here. He's like, "Oh, you used them for firewood."
They're in my pickup. Anyway.
Matt
Nice.
Sosa wants to go on the whiskey round trail.
Yeah.
Or
So-
whiskey round trail. See, I just coined a new
There you
phrase.
go. The round trail. But you guys are just going to go around all the good places.
That's oh my. We're back.
No, we're going to make that happen. We honestly do, and I'm not just. This isn't just the whiskey talking. I mean, I think we really need to figure out how to make that happen, and maybe this year
I
is
love
the
it.
year we ought to do it, and can kind of just do it over a long weekend, and I think it can work.
I do too. That would be
Yeah,
so
me
much
too.
fun too.
We'll get
Yeah.
Scott Royblath involved too. So
Yeah, he
All
moved
right.
back up here.
I know he moved back up here, but he would trust me. He'd be in the car, the first one in the passenger seat.
I know
trust
he
me.
would.
Yeah,
I'm
And he
not-
better cook for us
I'm
too.
pretty
That's right.
confident that also we would have stories to tell for a long time.
Oh,
Oh, my.
history. Ho-ho.
Could you imagine?
Right, and I think
funny.
I think that has to happen.
That's the most fun.
All right.
The stories that'll come out of
What
it.
else we got here, kids?
Rob Richter's ready to go on the road trip with us too.
See, my
That's
boy.
right. Everybody's invited. Once we'll like any of these trips, we would get people to commit, and
All right.
then we'd plan it. We'd get some kind of transportation for the tasting days, and
I'm
Figure
designated
it out.
drinker, just so that we
That's
all
right.
know.
me too.
Rob was here. Rob was here.
Count me in on
He
that.
got up early and he shot back to Wisconsin, but we hung out last night. It was nice.
Oh,
to see him.
really?
Yeah, I
Yeah,
can't
it's-
believe he drove in this weather, but
Yeah.
I'm,
Well,
I'm
he-
glad he
Last
made it.
night to
Yes.
Wisconsin?
No, not last night. He was here last night. He came over. We had a cigar.
Okay.
And we
He's
didn't
in
drink
town
anything,
then.
but yeah, he was
Yeah.
in town and he rolled out this morning. But it was nice to see him. He's a
And
great
I'm glad
guy.
to see he made it back safe.
Yeah,
Because I can
yeah.
only imagine
Wow.
what he ran into.
He was here for he was all over the place. I won't go into all that, but he did a lot of traveling, all business, and but he took some time out for me, like most people don't. But thank you, Rob.
Of course, that probably for somebody from Wisconsin, that storm was nothing.
He was up north.
No, actually, he thought it was so warm here. I'm surprised he didn't
Wait,
show up in
wait.
shorts.
He said he was going home to up north.
Up north. Yeah.
Up north.
Well, here's to Rob.
Here's Rob.
Glad you made it.
Our
back
closest
safe.
thing to Canada.
Yeah. Closest thing to a Canadian.
Oh
Too
my
funny.
gosh. So Nick says, I gotta get on the show.
Oh, Nick, we're waiting on
Yeah.
you, dog. Waiting on you. But it's going to be during the dark time.
And
Nick,
you have
is
to
it
leave the
okay?
house.
You got to leave the house. Are you okay with that? We'll discuss it on Sunday. I love Nick. I love him to death.
Matt Souza says, what happens on the trail stays on the
That'll
trail.
be our rule for sure.
Well, no, it
Absolutely.
won't, because we have big mouths.
I gotta
Well,
get.
no,
I'm
but
gonna
I
have
mean,
to put
I'm
it.
saying
And a
that
camera and a
we're allowed to
microphone.
have stories. We might change the names.
I'm gonna have to put
To
a.
protect the
Protect
guilty.
the
I'm gonna have to
guilty.
rent a trailer for the Suburban.
What?
Yeah, I'm gonna bring the goats.
The
Yeah.
goats.
Well, that's some of the stories we won't talk about after we get back. But anyway, we'll move on.
Speaking of the goat, Tom Brady retired.
Right.
I know.
Throwing that in there for Phil, our Patriots fan. But
You know what? I did not like Tom Brady the whole time he was with the Patriots. And once
I
he left, I liked
I'm
him.
I'm with Phil because I like the fact that every time one of the people from the NFL, one of the owners or whatever, coaches or whatever, they have a problem and they turn around and say, well, you want to leave, then leave. And then they go on to win the Super Bowl the next 3-4 years after that
With another team.
with another team. That tells you everything you need to know
Peyton Manning
of
did
the
this.
politics that goes on in the NFL. But
Didn't
anyway,
Peyton Manning do the same thing
Same
with Denver?
thing. Same
He
thing.
left and went to Denver and did the same
right,
thing.
went right ahead and won the Super Bowl. So good for
Well,
him.
you can't argue that he's the greatest of all time.
Sure.
He
And
is.
I think,
And
I
guess
hope
where
he
he
finds
went to
something-
college?
something good to do in his retirement. I'm sure he'll end up
Community
as
college.
a caster on
Michigan.
he'll be doing
Sure, he'll be fine.
Monday Night Football.
Yeah,
Obviously he's
listen.
going to do whatever he wants to do.
You seen his wife? He's got to get a job. Trust me.
Yeah, Giselle's not going to let him sit around the house.
All right.
No, he's going to
Sit on
gonna have
couch,
to
eat
pay his
sandwich.
way. He's going to have to earn his way.
She's like, oh, you sit on couch, eat sandwich. What? So anyway.
You go work now.
All right, come on, roll us out of here, kids.
Well,
Let's
wait.
go. What are we doing?
We have 5 minutes and we haven't done the news.
Oh.
We haven't done the news.
Okay.
Did you have any news?
I don't have any new. Oh my God, Randy Primer. I wonder if is Randy Primer on the scroll?
No, he's not on the scroll.
He doesn't even know the show's going.
Oh my goodness.
So what do you got for
So
news?
I don't know.
I'll
I
do
think
some
he
quick
does.
news while
Here.
Greg looks at his phone.
Go ahead. I'm sorry,
Okay,
kids.
so new releases. These is I just did a quick thing for new releases 2022. Kentucky Owl St. Patrick's limited edition bourbon whiskey. I don't really get that, a St. Patrick's bourbon whiskey, but that's what Kentucky Owl has released.
And is
I
it
didn't know
coming
Kentucky Owl's under Stoli Group as the owner.
like as in the vodka
Says
solely?
in the vodka. It announced the release of its St. Patrick's limited edition bourbon whiskey in celebration of the long-standing ties that connect Irish and Kentucky whiskey making. So I guess I did know that, but
Do they do that every year? Or is
I
this...
don't know
No.
why.
No.
What's the connection in the particular whiskey?
Yeah,
to
when you say
Irish
Irish whiskey, right? So what?
No, it's a Kentucky whiskey.
So where do they come up with the Irish?
There's just
Because it's St. Patrick's
It's a good
Day.
question. It doesn't really explain.
Right.
I think they're just trying to capitalize on St. Patrick's Day. Capitalize on St. Patrick's Day.
Gotcha.
But anyway, Kentucky Owl's a good whiskey. Jen hasn't liked all of their releases, but and I have to say that I have a couple, but I have not tried them. So,
Me too. I think I have 3 bottles,
so
different
it's one
bottles
of those
I've
shelf
never tried.
whiskeys. And again, my policy's always they're there to drink, but it's just one I've hung on to.
Gotcha.
Cole Ela, my favorite distillery
Yes,
in
it
Scotland,
is.
has continued its 175th anniversary celebrations with the release of limited edition single malt, the Cole Ela 24-year-old. God, if I can get my hands on it.
I know.
But anyway, 3,000 bottles were released, so I'm sure that one of those has got my name on
They
it.
ship it overseas too?
Yeah.
Is it?
Yeah, it's just, well, a bottle's just going to cost 300 pounds, which...
About
400,
500.
Yeah, 400.
$400 or
something,
$500.
yeah. So, yeah, but I don't know. I would consider it, to be honest with you.
All right.
It depends on how I do at the blackjack tables
Gotcha.
in Vegas in March. So if I do well, maybe there's that Cole Ela 24-year-old with my name on it.
You need
Barrel
a
Craft
loan?
Spirits Gray Label Seagrass is going to be released. 130.82 proof, age 16 years. Look for that one. Booker's Bourbon Fred's Pick. 124 proof, age 6 years, 6 months, and 12 days. That's
When's
very
that come-
specific.
Jen?
Fred's Pick is out. It's this
It's out
month
already?
anyway. It's coming out at least, actually January, so it is out. And then Kings County Black Label Bourbon is another one released this January. So
I gotta
there's
call
just
my
a few of the things happening out there.
Well, and we know our friend Jen loves Booker's.
I'm going to try to
Yeah,
find
so-
that bottle for her.
Yeah,
I'm going to make some calls first
we'll
thing
have
in
to
the
look
morning.
for that.
See if I can get that bottle for
And
her.
then when the
Does it say how
round
much it is?
table, when the round table trail
The
goes,
Round Trail.
The round trail.
the round
table.
trail goes through her house, and we can all share in that.
All right.
Jen, did you know?
Sounds
You are
like
now
a
on the
plan.
Round Trail.
Okay.
Yeah, she's. I don't know. We'll have to figure out if she's going to be at the end of the round trail.
What?
That's where
she's
we're
going with us.
Well, of course she is.
We're
but
dragging her ass with us.
That's why we'll finish there, and then she's home. So.
Mhm.
Want to thank everybody for watching. If you're here with us live or watching later on, remember, if you do miss the live show, it happens. Please still watch it when it's convenient. It's your views that help keep this thing going. And we'll be here next week, Friday the what will that be?
Friday the 11th.
Friday the 11th, yes.
Oh,
yeah.
we're doing a scotch.
And we're doing a very special scotch next week. Greg has graciously agreed to supply a nice special Ovan
Greg who?
Island whiskey for next week. So
I am?
Well, maybe you didn't know it, but anyway.
All right, there you go.
You
We
didn't
made
know it,
plans without you.
but we-
You're probably busy on your
Yeah.
phone somewhere. So.
Don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube page, blah, 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 all that stuff. Follow us on Facebook, and give us our comments. And email us directly at the Whiskey Roundtable at gmail.com. When was the last time you checked the Gmail? We need to
Every
make
time
it-
I boot up.
Oh, that's great.
Yeah, no, and
Because it's just
no one talks to us. Come on.
Well, come on, guys. Yeah, the Whiskey Roundtable at gmail.com for comments, or if you want to be a guest, Nick.
Nick. And I think the best way, though, to get a hold of us is via our Facebook page.
Yeah, you can always just comment on Facebook
or message us.
Right.
But message us, and So our closing quote for today. Anything else before we close
Nope.
out? Okay.
Oh, I want to say, because we have to clarify, Phil said that he was a Patriots fan before Tom Brady, and he's a Patriots fan after.
So just to be clear, Phil is not a bandwagon guy.
There you go.
He liked the Patriots before they were good, and so yeah. But when you think about the whole run that Tom Brady had, pretty good.
He's the GOAT, man.
He's
Yep.
you, for sure.
Our closing quote is one from W.C. Fields. He said, "Always carry a large flagon of whiskey in case of snake bite, and furthermore, always carry a small snake."
Oh my goodness.
Everyone does that,
I could have
right?
done my impersonation, but
I kind of did the cigar for you.
yeah, exactly.
All right, kids. Thanks for watching tonight. Appreciate it. It's our second time back.
Look at you getting the number right.
You told me.
Second
You
time.
told me it
I
was
know.
2 times. 2, right?
Yeah.
So
Yeah.
I thought it was the 8th. But anyway, but
second.
I appreciate you guys watching, and it's been a while since we've done the show. I know we did one last week. It wasn't so good, but anyway, sometimes you have that. But I
We gotta
appreciate you all.
relaunch. We gotta relaunch.
Anybody living on this side of the United States, stay warm, be safe, and we'll catch you guys next week. We are the Whiskey Roundtable. Big G.
Karen Helen Keller.
Doug Dunbar.
Catch you cats
See you next week, folks.
Be safe, all.
Bye-bye.
Bye-bye.
If whiskey stopped working, every bar in town would be closing their doors, shutting down. Everybody would be trapped with their thoughts, 'cause nothing else would pay like bourbon or scotch. Oh no, oh no, no. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped. Poor Jack D would be out of a job. Jameson and Bean would be cut off. Hank Williams songs wouldn't make any sense. Yeah, this whole damn world would be a mess. Oh yeah, oh yeah, yeah. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably wasting lots of money trying therapy. If whiskey stopped working, what the hell would I do? Honestly, to tell you the truth, I wouldn't be over you. If whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped working, oh, whiskey stopped working, if whiskey stopped, oh. If whiskey stopped working, where the hell would I be? Probably halfway out of this town, leaving Tennessee. whiskey. Whiskey stopped working with the